Greetings, people of Earth. I am Jibilis Prime, leader of the Auto Nerds. And this might seem controversial, so please be respectful about my opinion. Spider-Man should have never been in the MCU. Now hold on. Let me tell you guys why I think that. Spider-Man, for me, is a teen hero. Early 20s, something around those lines. And he fights crime like street level crime. The only times he has ever been Avengers level was when he dealt with a giant monster Sandman or alien symbiotes or whatever. But MCU Spidey, Tom Holland? I'm not insulting Tom Holland, far from it. But Tom is more like a white Miles Morales. He lives in an apartment, doesn't go deal with rent issues. He wants to be a part of the Avengers, which in the comics, Peter Parker never wants to be a part of the Avengers. He just works with them, but he's not really a full-on member. And he has a tech suit, and he's way too young and energetic. Peter Parker, the only tech suit Peter Parker has in the comic books, was that Oscorp suit, the suit he had in the Dan Slott run, and the suit he has, which is the Iron Spider suit, which Iron Man gave him in the Civil War comic arc. Don't believe me? I'm gonna bring something in here real quick. This right here is my favorite comic book of all time in my collection. Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. In this, it's an origin for Peter. It's not part of the main comics, but it's part of my explanation why I don't think MCU Spidey should be in the MCU, or let me rephrase that, and why I don't think Spider-Man should have been in the MCU. This comic right here is about teen angst, self-discovery, and figuring out your place in the world. That's what all teenagers go through. But MCU Spider-Man, the only time he has teen angst was in Far From Home for the third act. The third act and the second act, whatever. And in No Way Home, after the death of Aunt May. Hey, but those don't feel like Spider-Man to me. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a good way to interpret different characters. You can have them any way you want. But MCU Spider-Man feels like a white Miles Morales. That might have been a comparison you all might have heard before. It might not be. I'm not sure. But that's how it feels like. Sony were kind of idiots back in the 2010s. With firing Andrew Garfield because he was sick on a work day, which he was sick. Well, why fire him? Let him get better and reschedule the event. But for when he is better. Anyway, Spider-Man should stay at the street level. Like, he deals with superpowered villains, but I don't know how those villains are going to be if they put them in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth movie of the Tom Holland saga. That's what I'm calling it. Do not question me. But here's the thing. With Sony and Marvel's contract, it says Marvel can't use villains that Sony already used. And when I say Marvel, I mean Disney Marvel, not Marvel as in the comic book company. Anyway, which means that you can't really have an MCU universe, Green Goblin, Electro, Doc Ock, Sandman, Lizard, Rhino, Kraven, or Venom. I mean, they might do Venom since the piece of the symbiote was left in the post-credit scene of No Way Home. I'm not going to explain that post-credit scene. I'm just going to assume you've all seen it already. But at the end of No Way Home, that's when Spider-Man becomes a street level character. He doesn't have a backing of Stark Industries. He's not Avengers because Doctor Strange did that spell that made everyone forget who he is. That made the world forget Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. But seriously, you want to read something Spider-Man is street level Spider-Man? Read the Ultimate Comics, because let me tell you, they're pretty awesome. And this, I have read it multiple times. It's still as good as the first time I read it. But yeah, what I feel like they should do after Brand New Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and after Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday, is that Sony should break their contract with Disney. Like, Disney can still make like Spider-Man cartoons and all that, but Sony should be the primary people to make the movies. Now, I don't mean that as a bad way. What I think is that they can do like an animated series for Disney Plus about Daredevil, The Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Shang-Chi, Moon Knight in Blade, and have Spider-Man in that roster characters as well. An adaptation of the Midnight Suns, or better yet, the Marvel Knights, which is just the name of an imprint. Yeah, but that's what I think anyway. Tom Holland's Spidey only became proper Spider-Man, like street level superhero, at the end of No Way Home. And I'm not saying Spider-Man's a big time superhero is a bad thing. Far from it. All I'm saying is that maybe you should start off with him as a street level guy. I know they do like a street level hero montage in not No Way Home, Homecoming. But that still doesn't feel like comic Spider-Man. Sure, Spider-Man makes banter, he helps people out, is what he does. But doesn't feel like Peter Parker helping them. It feels like Miles Morales is helping them. That's the analogy I have. But hey, that's all the time for today's video. Have a good comic book day.